Welcome to the press conference of the Chinese Volunteers Recruitment Campaign, organized by the Chinese Australian Services Society. My name is Ivan Wong, the Senior Executive Officer, Health, Aging and Disability Services of CAS, and I'll be your MC today.
各位传媒的朋友，大家好，欢迎出席由华人服务社主办的义不容辞义工招募计划新闻发布记者招待会。我是古一梅，华人服务社的义工服务主任，也是你们今天的司仪。
First of all, I wish to introduce to you the CAS board members and the guests attending the press conference today. The board members of CAS who are here today are.
首先，请让我来介绍出席今天活动的华人服务社董事局成员以及各位的嘉宾。我们董事局的成员有
Dr. Ling Tang, the chairperson of CAS.
华人服务社主席陈立医生。
Mr. Henry Pan OAM, Honorary Executive Director and Foundation Chairperson.
义务执行董事创社主席潘南红先生。
Mr. Dominic Singh, Vice Chairperson of CAS.
副主席陈伟广先生。
Mr. Pan Bai, Vice Chairperson of CAS.
副主席戴鹏先生。
Mr. Tao Bai, Secretary of CAS.
秘书长戴涛先生。
Ms. Louise Wu, CAS Director.
董事吴于慧先生。
Mr. Tony Pan, Member of CAS Board.
董事局成员彭广明先生。
We have a lot of guests today, and we are still waiting for Mr. Mark Curry to be here. I'll introduce him to you later.
我们今天有很多嘉宾，我们还在等待Mark Curry 先生啊。
And we have Mr. Tony Fru, Research and Policy Manager at the Center for Volunteering.
有义工中心研究及政策经理 Tony Fu 先生。
Dr. Li Fei-Lo, Research Fellow, Dementia Collaborative Research Center, University of New South Wales.
西南威尔斯大学痴呆症联合研究中心研究员刘礼飞博士。
Mr. Peter Todaro, the Director of Multicultural Health Communication Services.
义工中心会员服务经理 Mike McCall 先生。
Mr. Mike McCall, Manager, Member Services, the Center for Volunteering.
对不起，我刚才应该之前一位是多元文化通讯服务董事 Peter Tadaro 先生。
Ms. Jane Krier, Manager, Aging Projects Administration, Office for Aging, Department of Family and Community Services.
还有新州家庭及社区服务部高龄项目行政经理 Jane Crew 女士。
Mr. Ben Benevento, Manager, Inner West Community Transport.
以及内西区交通服务经理 Ben Benevento 先生。
Ms. Susanna Ng, Manager, Community Development, City of Sydney.
还有悉尼市社区发展经理 Susanna Ng 女士。
Mr. Chris Boland, Project Officer, New South Wales Multicultural Health Communication Services.
还有多元文化健康服务项目主任 Christopher Colin 先生。
Now may I invite Dr. Ling Tang, the Chairperson of CAS, to give the welcome speech.
各位朋友，现在我们请华人服务社主席陈林医生致欢迎词。
Thank you, Ivan. Good morning, friends and Chinese media and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional owners of the land, the Darawa and Darren people of the Eora Nation. We recognize the strength and spirit of the Aboriginal people and their ongoing tradition and care for this country. On behalf of the Board of CAS Directors, I wish to welcome you all to this press conference. In the past 30 years, CAS has been providing important services to the community, including childcare, health, aging and disability service, settlement service for the new migrants, social activity groups, interest classes, Chinese schools, and academic of arts. With the limited financial resources available to us, the most important asset that we have in developing all these services is volunteer. During these 30 years, numerous named and unnamed volunteers have made selfless contribution to the community. And it is this community spirit that builds CAS and our services. Today, I'm very pleased to see that the experience of CAS in working with volunteers can be applied in a research project headed by the Dementia Collaborative Research Centre of the University of New South Wales, the Council of the Aging New South Wales, and the New South Wales Multicultural Health Community Service. Let's welcome Mark Curry. Today, I'm very pleased to see the experience of CAS in working with volunteers can be applied in a research project headed by the Dementia Collaborative Research Centres of the University of New South Wales, the Council of the Aging New South Wales, the New South Wales Multicultural Health Communication Service, with strong support from the Centre for Volunteering. Now, please let me invite Mr. Tony Frey, Research and Policy Manager from the Centre of Volunteering, to speak to us on volunteering and his view on this project. Tony has extensive experience as a corporate professional and business owner of enterprises in the technology and manufacturing sectors. He had held various honorary positions in the not-for-profit and government sectors and is currently the chair of Bridge Incorporated.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Centre for Volunteering is the peak volunteering body in New South Wales. It promotes and supports volunteering and community participation. In 2010, there were more than 2 million volunteers in New South Wales, and it's the role of the Centre to support volunteers and the organisations they work for. If you look at it from purely a financial perspective, the imputed wages of volunteer work in Australia is more than 14.5 billion per annum, and that equates to the organisations they actually work for contribute close to 4% of GDP annually. The benefits to our society are tangible in those terms, but there is also considerable benefits for volunteers. The Centre for Volunteering research is consistent with the research into the untapped resource of older, culturally diverse volunteers, which is that older volunteers have better health, reduced stress and are happier with their lives. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, when asked about their overall life satisfaction, 82% of volunteers said that they were delighted, pleased or mostly satisfied with their lives. As a multicultural society, it's important to encourage all groups to actively participate in community life. Other language speakers can provide a unique service to the community. And just one example that we have through our organisation is that of a Chinese volunteer, Helen Lam. She's a community visitor with the Central Area Health Service. And to quote her, "I'm just one of thousands of Hong Kong Chinese living in Sydney. But to Anne, a 95-year-old Chinese lady living in an English-speaking nursing home, I am unique. I'm the only one and only friend in the world to whom she speaks her own language, and I've been visiting her regularly for 4 years. She can no longer remember a single name or single face of any of her children, grandchildren or great-grandchildren, but she recognises me. I only give her a bit of my time, and yet she returns it with love and gratitude." And that's a great story and very typical of what happens and what the benefits that both the volunteer gives and gets from that experience. We get through our volunteer referral service, where we have anywhere between 450 and 500 volunteer roles at any one time available for people. We get 60% of the volunteers that come in to be interviewed for those roles come from culturally diverse backgrounds. 1/3 of those come from Chinese language groups. So Chinese people are very, very active in New South Wales in volunteering. And the Centre is very pleased to be a partner to this very worthy project and recognises the importance of working with culturally diverse organisations to promote the benefits of volunteering to their members. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Li Fei Lo, Research Fellow at the Dementia Collaborative Research Center, to give everyone an overview of this project. Dr. Li Fei Lo has been working in HK research for 13 years and is a registered psychologist with a PhD in epidemiology. He has a particular interest in applied research that improves aged care services and is passionate about care for persons from non-English speaking backgrounds. She sits on the New South Wales Dementia Expert Advisory Group and on the board of the Arts Health Institute. Dr. Lo.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Cass, for inviting me to speak today, especially for supporting us so enthusiastically on this project. Our overall aim, I suppose, is to provide the best possible services we can for all the people, particularly those who don't speak, who speak a language at home other than English, such as members of the Chinese community. So this is a collaboration between us at the University of New South Wales, the Council for the Aged, and Peter's team at New South Wales Multicultural Health Communication. And we've been working with CAS and COAS and other groups to try and improve this. I want to share with you 3 research findings that are important, which have led to us being here today. Firstly, we found that there's a need for Chinese-speaking volunteers in the community to improve services. Secondly, we found that some organisations don't have the language resources to work with volunteers who don't speak English very well. So even though they want Chinese speakers, if the Chinese speakers don't speak English, they can't work with them. So it's a bit of a catch-22 situation. So if we want to service Chinese speakers in the community, and we need Chinese volunteers to service them, we need to somehow find a way of working with Chinese volunteers who don't speak English very well. The third thing we found in our research so far is that volunteers, whether Chinese or not, want to work with organisations that they know and that they respect and whose work they value. So someone, Chinese speaking or not, would not volunteer for an organisation they never heard of before or whose work they didn't know about. Which has led us to this project that we're working on now. We're so pleased that the Department of Family and Community Services, represented by Jane today, agreed to fund this project and let us kind of try this new model that we've come up with. Ivan at CAS has been supporting us in developing this, and COAS are also going to try this model where we're going to try brokerage. So what CAS are going to do, CAS are going to help us recruit Chinese volunteers, and you've got the hotline number in your packs, and we ask the media to help us promote this. And then they're going to help us assess the volunteers, induct them and train them, and help them then work with our partner organisations, so Meals on Wheels, Community Transport, Tenant Connect. We hope that by doing this, that we'll be able to get more Chinese volunteers working not just for CAS, but for organisations within the community who want to service Chinese people but don't have the resources language-wise to work with those volunteers. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Li. As mentioned by Li Fei, we are currently trying a new model to facilitate the participation of the Chinese-speaking volunteers in community service. I think still okay. Especially services provided by the mainstream organization. In this model, CAS work as a center of process which register interest from both Chinese-speaking volunteers and organizations who are seeking Chinese-speaking volunteers. This involves conducting policy work in the Chinese community and to the service provider, organizing induction training for volunteers, referring volunteers to suitable organizations, and regular monitoring of